We need to talk about love. Why love and not the state of current political affairs? Why not talk about how Elon Musk, President Trump, Walmart, and Target are trying to bring an end to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives? Why not talk about how border enforcement agencies have spent billions of our tax dollars assembling surveillance tools to track and ambush people? Why not talk about how the whole scheme of taking away TikTok and giving it back was just a manipulative political scheme where a whole generation saw through, but still put Trump at a power advantage regardless? It's because it's been a lot on my mind lately, love, and the manifestations of it, and the power of it. And when it comes down to it in 5, 10, 50 years, all that we will have left to fight for is love. It's what has driven us since the beginning of time. And if we all end up enslaved, it's the thing that will break through our shackles. It's the one human drive that remains constant throughout time. Because, baby, currencies change, policies change, the job market changes. No amount of money or success in your career will ever fill the hole in your heart that love can. And if that scares you, good. Open up your ears because I'm about to say something to you that will be relevant to you, not just now, but through the start and end of all wars, and up to the very last moment of your last breath. Part 1.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Love is not a piece of media or a political stance to partake on, but it is something absolutely controversial. Just the definition of it on its own can be made into a 90-minute documentary, and if you don't listen up right now, your life itself will be a 90-year testament of trying to define it for yourself and still not knowing what it was by the time that you're on your deathbed. Love is an abstract concept that's extremely subjective, and its roots and fruits are easily disputable. But in practicality and function, all love is small expressions of hope.
I want to run away. Okay.
It's being patient with someone even though you know you could do things more efficiently yourself, because you know that you yourself struggle with understanding some things too. And maybe your patience makes the difference between enlightening this person and making them feel so ashamed about their abilities that they fear learning. It's being told something awful, and rather than blowing it out of proportion for your own benefit, retelling it accurately and empathetically when you send the message forward. It's witnessing somebody being lazy or violent, and instead of assuming the worst and striking them with condescension, finding a middle ground where you don't promote their destructive behaviors, but do show them enough politeness and compassion and understanding that they no longer feel ostracized to the point where they have to hide behind avoidance or hostility to start with. Now, those are just examples of love in its simplest form. Small acts of empathy that contribute to a much, much bigger picture. If you want to have any sort of peace of mind, you must begin by acknowledging that in every act of kindness in your everyday life and self-sacrifice, there is love. No matter how bad things get, you are still receiving and giving love through every non-selfish thing that you experience in your day. However, if you do not want to have peace of mind, turn the volume up as we expose the shift of how romantic and familiar love went from being genuine and positive to being an absolute crisis. But why would I want to do that? Character development. And you'll be smarter by the end of this video. Oh, okay. Part 2. Naturalist and supernaturalist love. A naturalist will say that love likely began as an evolutionary mechanism to encourage bonding for reproduction and survival. The attachment between mothers and their offspring was the earliest form of love, and sharing care and protection for vulnerable children. This attachment was and is promoted by the release of oxytocin in the brain. For those that don't know what oxytocin is, know that it's regarded to as the love hormone. It's released through performing or receiving acts of kindness as detailed in part 1, but is better known for being released during childbirth, breastfeeding, playing with a child, and other forms of parental affection. As a child caregiver myself, I can testify that throughout the day, I'll think, man, this job is free birth control. If it weren't for the money, I would never be putting myself through this. Then the student that I was stressing over comes down from her tantrum and starts baby giggling and asking to be held and asking for me to play with her. And as I hold this child in my arms, I completely forget that I was about to quit my job because of her just a few minutes before. And as I teach her how to build a tower using foam blocks, I find myself thinking, oh my god, bro, I cannot wait to be a father. I need to have a kid right now. I know I'm young, but I'm so ready. And that, my friends, is the effect of oxytocin. The force behind it all, the reason why prehistoric humans raised their children into adulthood rather than leaving them out to die, most of the time at least. Once grown, prehistoric humans didn't show much affection toward each other. Romantic or sexual partnerships were often practical, tied to reproduction and the survival of the group rather than personal affection. Which makes a lot of sense. How can you expect cave people to write love letters if language wasn't yet invented? How can you expect them to buy flowers if gardening wasn't even a thing yet? There wasn't much romantic to do, so they were probably just going at it, going at it all day, to be fair. As soon as civilization developed, so did language, religion, and abstract thinking. And next thing you know, the Mesopotamians invented sacred marriage. How do we know this? Because they literally wrote and fiction about their last honeymoon. Dumuzi waited expectantly. Inanna opened the door for him. Inside the house she shone before him, like the light of the moon. Dumuzi looked at her joyously. He pressed his neck close against hers. He kissed her. Inanna spoke. What I tell you, let the singer weave into song. What I tell you, let it flow from ear to mouth. Let it pass from old to young. My vulva, the horn, the boat of heaven, is full of eagerness like the young moon. My unchilled land lies fallow. As for me, Nana, who will plow my vulva? Who will plow my high field? Who will plow my wet ground? As for me, the young woman, who will plow my vulva? Who will station the ox there? Who will plow my vulva? This is followed by 19 stanzas of Dumuzi basically plowing Inanna's vulva. Man, some things never change. Anyway, ancient Egypt celebrated loving your family and your spouse through poetry and art. Hindu Vedic traditions came up with the concept of lust, which they called kama, and spiritual unconditional love, which they called prema. Fast forward a millennium, and we've got Abrahamic religions everywhere that worship a God who is the epitome of universal love itself, and also into punishing those who make love outside of marriage. This gave birth to the concept of forbidden love. Fast forward a few more centuries and we get Shakespeare exposing the complexities, contradictions, and absurdities of love. And finally, the Romanticism movement comes around in the 17th century and depicts love as a transcendental force. With this, we see how the supernaturalist perception of love originated. Unlike the naturalist perception of love that focuses on its evolutionary functions and biochemical underpinnings, the supernaturalist perception of love emphasizes divinity, spirituality, and humanism. Whichever perspective you lean more towards is not a problem with me, because through both perspectives, you can see that we need more love in this world. Whether it is for spiritual completion or because oxytocin is good for our bodies, love is something that we need. More on this coming up. This, if you didn't know, is my very first YouTube video. That's why the voiceover quality is not so great and the editing is also not so great. I'm still trying to figure things out. But if you want to support me and see how my videos become better, tune into part 3, 4, and 5. That would be super epic and awesome, and I would love if you join me. In part 3, we're going to talk about modern love and how it is perceived in Generation Z. We're going to talk in part 4 about the death of the modern family. We're going to talk in part 5 about Bad Bunny's most love-filled album. Yeah, Bad Bunny's most love-filled album. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really passionate about this stuff. But then again, this video itself, even though the quality is so choppy, already took over 50 hours. So I'll just split this up, see how things go. I appreciate you guys for being here in this first video. And man, I'm excited. Now, is TikTok and not being broke something that you're passionate about? Do you spend hours every day doom scrolling and then feeling guilty about it because you know that you could have spent that time being productive? Consider this. You can do it for absolute free or for 20 bucks. Yeah, 20 bucks that you could have spent buying burritos at Taco Bell or buying unnecessary clothes of Shein. You can put those 20 bucks into learning something new, something that can multiply those 20 into 200 and soon enough into 2,000. It's all dependent on how hard you're willing to work. The sky is your limit. And you might be thinking, but I don't want to replace my doom scrolling with working. I want to doom scroll. I want to waste my money on unnecessary things. Dude, I promise you it's not going to feel like working. All you're going to be doing is making TikToks. You know, all those people that come on your For You page selling stuff and sponsoring stuff from the TikTok shop. Do you ever think, oh, I could do that? The answer is yes, you can do that. So why are you not doing it? If you click on the link in my bio, you can learn how to do it step by step. They'll go through every single part of the process on how to become a TikTok affiliate. And they also got a 7-day trial. So for you guys that don't even want to put in those $20, I get it. I don't like to spend money either. They have a 7 free day trial. You can go in, watch as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and then just call it quits. But if you really, really like the program and you do feel like it's working for you, stay, pay those $20. You'll be supporting me by doing it. You'll be making yourself smarter. There are no risks to it, so give it a try and take care. Peace out.